Have you ever found yourself wondering, what makes a man truly miss a woman? Is it her looks, her charm, or the way she talks? Maybe you've tried it all, constant texting, giving him attention, or even pulling away, but nothing seems to create that undeniable pull that makes him long for you. Let's face it, in today's fast-paced, swipe-right culture, keeping someone's attention can feel impossible. But what if I told you the secret doesn't lie in games or manipulation? Instead, it lies in you. Yes, you, your confidence, your emotional independence, and your ability to navigate relationships with grace and self-respect. These qualities don't just make you irresistible, they make you unforgettable. And what better way to cultivate them than by diving into the time-tested principles of Stoicism and its modern twist, which I like to call Dark Stoic Psychology. This isn't about playing hard to get, it's about becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need to play at all. In this video, I'll guide you through 11 transformative strategies that will not only make him miss you, but also strengthen your self-worth and authenticity. Each step is designed to show him the value of your presence and the unique space you hold in his life. But here's the catch. These principles aren't just about him, they're about you. Your growth, your fulfillment, and your ability to create meaningful connections. Stay with me until the end, because every step builds upon the last. These aren't surface-level tips, they're a powerful framework that can reshape your relationships. Ready to dive in? Let's begin with the first secret that will leave him thinking about you day and night. 1. Showcase your vibrant life. Here's a question to think about. When he looks at your life, does he see someone thriving or surviving? The truth is, nothing makes a person more magnetic than a life that's rich, exciting, and filled with purpose. When your world is vibrant, it draws people in, especially him. Men are naturally intrigued by women who seem to be at the center of their own universe, not chasing validation or waiting on someone else to complete them. But how do you cultivate this vibrant energy in a way that feels authentic and irresistible? It starts with a shift in focus. Instead of thinking, what can I do to make him like me? Ask yourself, what can I do to make my life so fulfilling that I wouldn't trade it for anyone else's attention? Whether it's hiking a challenging trail, learning a new skill, or pursuing a passion you've been putting off, every step you take toward creating a life you love adds a layer of allure. Let's talk about social media for a moment. Many of us see it as a tool to connect, but it's also a window into the life you're living. Now, I'm not saying you should curate your life for Instagram likes. That's not the point. But when you share authentic snippets of your adventures, like a weekend trip with friends, a stunning sunset from your favorite hike, or a candid photo of you laughing over coffee, you're telling a story. And that story is, I'm living my best life with or without you. This doesn't just pique his curiosity, it ignites a subtle sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. He begins to wonder, what's so captivating about her life? Why am I not part of it? And that's exactly where you want him, intrigued and eager to know more. But don't fall into the trap of oversharing or trying to manufacture a certain image. Men are highly perceptive when it comes to authenticity. If your posts or conversations feel forced, the magic fades. Instead, focus on building a life that genuinely excites you. The thrill of your adventures and the passion behind your pursuits will naturally shine through. Now, let's take it one step further. Incorporate a touch of Dark Stoic Psychology by embracing the Stoic ideal of self-sufficiency. This means finding joy in your own company, cultivating inner peace, and showing that your happiness isn't contingent on external factors, like his attention. By radiating this emotional independence, you don't just make him miss you, you make him admire you. Imagine this scenario. You've just shared a picture of a solo trip to a nearby vineyard, or maybe you've posted about learning to play the guitar. He sees it and wonders, how does she do it? How does she always find joy even in the simplest things? That curiosity turns into admiration, and admiration turns into longing. But remember, this isn't about showing off. It's about creating a life that reflects who you truly are, a woman of depth, passion, and independence. And when he sees that, he won't just miss you, he'll crave being a part of your world. Now, are you ready to dive into the next strategy? Let's explore another powerful way to capture his attention and make your presence unforgettable. Stay tuned, it's only going to get better from here. 2. Embrace mystery. Have you ever met someone who seems like an open book? Sure, they're easy to understand, but they're also easy to forget. Now, think of someone who leaves you wondering, someone who shares just enough to intrigue you but keeps you wanting to know more. Which one do you find more captivating? This is the art of mystery, a powerful tool in making any man miss you. It's about letting him discover you slowly, piece by piece, so that every interaction feels like peeling back another layer of who you are. And let me tell you, curiosity is a driving force in attraction. If you reveal everything up front, where's the excitement in getting to know you? Imagine this. You're on a date and he asks about your weekend. Instead of giving him a play-by-play of every detail, you smile and say, "It was great, I got to try something new I've been meaning to do for ages." Then you change the subject slightly, leaving him intrigued. What did you try? Who are you with? The less you reveal, the more he wonders. And that wondering keeps you on his mind. Mystery doesn't mean withholding or being evasive. It's about intentional sharing. When you sprinkle hints about your life, your passions, or your talents, you create a breadcrumb trail for him to follow. Maybe you casually mention that you've been exploring photography, or that you've always dreamed of traveling solo to Paris. You're not boasting, you're inviting him into your world bit by bit, making him want to learn more with every interaction. Here's a practical tip. When texting, resist the urge to over-explain. If he asks about your plans, you might say, "I've got something exciting lined up," instead of listing your entire itinerary. When he sees that you're leaving space for imagination, his curiosity will do the rest. Trust me, this subtle tactic aligns beautifully with the principles of Stoicism, focusing on what's meaningful while keeping your inner world protected. And let's not forget about the long game here. By revealing yourself gradually, you're not just maintaining his interest, you're building respect. A man who sees that you don't feel the need to overshare will admire your emotional maturity. It tells him, "I'm confident in who I am, and I don't need constant validation." But let's bring in some Dark Stoic Psychology to amplify the effect. By embracing mystery, you show that you value your own boundaries. You don't feel the need to lay all your cards on the table because you know your worth. And that quiet confidence, it's irresistible. Men are naturally drawn to women who keep them guessing, not because they're playing games, but because they exude a sense of self-possession that's rare and magnetic. Think about the movies or books that have stayed with you long after they ended. What made them unforgettable? It's often the unanswered questions, the layers you never quite figured out, that keep you hooked. Now imagine being that movie or book in his life, the one he can't stop thinking about because there's always more to uncover. But here's the beauty of this. Embracing mystery isn't just about him. It's about creating a sense of wonder in your own life. It's about leaving space for your growth, your experiences, and your dreams to unfold without feeling the need to explain every step to anyone else. The more you protect that sacred space, the more magnetic you become, not just to him but to everyone around you. So, are you ready to make him miss you by letting him chase the puzzle you've become? If you're loving this idea, hit the like button and comment number 1 right now. Let us know how you plan to create a little more mystery in your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got so much more to share about the art of attraction and the power of Stoicism. Keep watching, because the next strategy will change the way you approach his attention forever. 3. Teach him something new. What if I told you that one of the most powerful ways to make a man miss you isn't about looks, mystery, or even attraction? It's about impact. Specifically, the impact you leave on him by enriching his life in ways he didn't expect. People remember those who teach them, who challenge their minds, and who bring something new to the table. Imagine becoming the person who not only captures his heart but also expands his world. Here's the thing. Men admire women who inspire growth. When you share your passions, knowledge, or unique perspective, you're not just making conversation, you're creating an experience. And experiences, unlike fleeting compliments or surface-level exchanges, are unforgettable. Picture this. He's scrolling through his phone one evening, and a random fact or skill you taught him pops into his head. Maybe it's the way you showed him how to brew the perfect cup of coffee or explained the constellations during a stargazing session. It doesn't matter how small or big the knowledge was. What matters is that it was yours, and now it's a part of him. That's the power of being memorable. But how do you make this happen? Start by sharing things you're genuinely passionate about. If you love gardening, invite him to help plant an herb garden or explain why lavender repels pests. If you're a bookworm, recommend a novel that moved you deeply and tell him why it resonated with you. The key is to offer something that adds value to his life, a perspective, a skill, or even just a spark of curiosity. Now, let's add a twist of Dark Stoic Psychology to elevate this strategy. Teaching him something isn't about showing off or proving you're smarter. It's about embodying Stoic virtues like wisdom and patience. Stoicism reminds us that true power lies in what we can offer to others without seeking validation in return. When you share your knowledge or help him see the world differently, you're not just intriguing him, you're elevating his perception of you. You become someone who adds depth and meaning to his life, and that is unforgettable. The beauty of this approach is its subtlety. It doesn't scream for attention. It whispers in his mind long after you're gone. He starts associating you with moments of growth and discovery. Every time he remembers that skill or piece of wisdom, he remembers you. And trust me, a man doesn't forget the woman who made him feel smarter, more capable, or more inspired. There's also something undeniably intimate about teaching and learning together. It creates a bond, a shared experience that deepens your connection. Think about how often people say they miss the little things after a relationship ends, those moments of closeness that felt effortless. When you teach him something, you're creating those little things in the here and now. Let's not forget the confidence boost this brings. You're showing him that you're a woman with substance, someone who can contribute to his life in meaningful ways. This isn't about outshining him or taking over. It's about creating a dynamic where you both grow together. And growth, in any relationship, is the foundation of long-lasting attraction. Remember, this isn't about being a know-it-all or forcing your interests on him. It's about finding opportunities to share pieces of yourself in ways that feel natural and enriching. Maybe it's a cooking tip, a story from history, or even a travel hack you swear by. The magic lies in the sincerity of your offer and the way it makes him see you as someone he can't wait to spend more time with. When he misses you, it won't just be because of the way you made him laugh or how beautiful you looked. It'll be because you left a mark on his life, a mark that reminds him of your intelligence, your depth, and the way you made him feel more alive. That's the kind of memory that lingers, no matter how far apart you are. 4. Add thoughtful surprises. Imagine this. He's going about his day, caught up in the usual routine, when suddenly something reminds him of you, not because you reached out, but because of a thoughtful surprise you left behind. It doesn't have to be grand or flashy. In fact, the smaller and more personal it feels, the greater its impact. Thoughtful surprises are a powerful way to leave an impression that lingers, creating moments he'll associate with you long after they've passed. Men, like anyone else, crave novelty. But more than that, they appreciate effort, especially when it's tailored specifically to them. A thoughtful surprise says, "I see you, I hear you, and I've remembered what makes you smile." It's not about extravagance, it's about care. Let's say he's casually mentioned a favorite band he used to love but hasn't listened to in years. A simple act, like creating a playlist with some of their greatest hits and sharing it with a note that says, "Thought you'd enjoy this," can completely shift his day. Suddenly he's reminded of how attentive you are and how rare that is. Here's another scenario. He tells you he's been stressed with work. A surprise doesn't need to be anything physical. It could be planning a relaxing day out or recommending a book that helped you unwind during a tough time. These gestures show that you're not only paying attention, but that you genuinely care about his well-being. What makes these surprises so effective is their unpredictability. They break the monotony of his day, injecting a moment of joy or connection that he wasn't expecting. That surprise creates a ripple effect. He starts to associate you with positive emotions, with moments that brighten his world. And when you're not around, he misses the energy you bring into his life. Now, let's delve into the psychology behind this with a touch of Dark Stoic Psychology. Stoicism teaches us to value the present and to find joy in simplicity. By crafting surprises that feel intentional rather than excessive, you reflect a grounded, thoughtful presence in his life. You're not seeking attention or validation. You're simply creating moments of meaning. That kind of authenticity is irresistible. Here's the key. It's not about how often you surprise him, but how well you understand him. A surprise that feels generic, like a random gift or overly elaborate gesture, won't carry the same weight as something that shows you truly know him. Think about what he's shared with you. His passions, his struggles, his small joys. Use that knowledge to create surprises that feel deeply personal. For example, if he loves the outdoors, plan a spontaneous trip to a nearby nature reserve. Pack his favorite snacks, bring a blanket, and enjoy a quiet picnic under the trees. Or if he's mentioned a bucket list activity he hasn't tried yet, like kayaking or visiting a local art exhibit, take the initiative to make it happen. The goal is to show him that you're invested in making his life richer and more vibrant. What's powerful about this approach is that it makes him feel valued without demanding anything in return. He sees that you're not playing games or seeking to impress, you're simply sharing joy. And that generosity, that ability to give without expectation, makes you stand out. Over time, these surprises build a narrative in his mind. You become the person who brings light into his routine, who thinks beyond the surface, and who makes him feel truly seen. And when you're not there to create those moments, he'll find himself missing you, wishing for that spark of thoughtfulness you bring into his life. The beauty of thoughtful surprises lies in their simplicity. They don't require extravagant effort or resources, just a willingness to pay attention and act with intention. And when you master this art, you don't just make him miss you, you make him realize how rare and extraordinary you are. That's the kind of impression that doesn't fade, no matter how much time passes. 5. Avoid the social media trap. Picture this. You've decided to give him space, to focus on your own life and let your natural allure do the work. Then, out of nowhere, you see a post, maybe a photo of him looking extra polished, or a cryptic caption that feels like it's aimed straight at you. Your instinct is to react, to comment, to let him know you've noticed. But what if I told you that not reacting is the most powerful move you can make? Social media can be a tempting battlefield in modern relationships. It's where subtle games are played, and where attention seekers thrive. But here's the secret. True confidence doesn't play games. It watches, observes, and chooses when or if to engage. When he posts something designed to catch your eye, resist the urge to like, comment, or respond. Why? Because by not reacting, you're doing two things. First, you're showing him that your world doesn't revolve around his social media presence. And second, you're creating an air of mystery that keeps him guessing. He'll wonder why you didn't respond. Did you see the post? Are you too busy to care? That uncertainty will drive him to think about you even more. This tactic ties beautifully into Dark Stoic Psychology. Stoicism teaches us to control what we can and let go of what we cannot. By refusing to let external distractions dictate your actions, you demonstrate emotional strength and self-mastery. You're showing him that while he might be fishing for attention, you're not taking the bait. That kind of independence is captivating. Let's flip the script for a moment. Instead of reacting to his posts, let your own social media tell the story. Share moments of your vibrant, fulfilling life, not as a response to him, but as a reflection of who you are. Post a picture from a spontaneous hike or a dinner with friends. Caption it with something simple, yet intriguing. Suddenly, the tables turn, and he's the one wondering about your life. But here's the catch. Authenticity is key. If your posts feel like a calculated effort to get his attention, the magic fades. Instead, focus on sharing moments that genuinely matter to you. Let your joy, passion, and independence shine through naturally. That's what makes you magnetic. Imagine this scenario. He posts a photo of himself at a party, clearly hoping to spark some jealousy or curiosity. You see it but decide to let it pass. A few days later, you post a picture of yourself laughing with friends at a rooftop bar, your caption playful and confident. You're not reacting, you're radiating. And that difference, it's everything. When you avoid the social media trap, you're not just playing hard to get, you're redefining the rules. You're showing him that your attention must be earned, not begged for. And when he realizes that he's no longer in control of the narrative, he'll start thinking about you in a whole new light. So, if you're loving this perspective and want more tips to master your emotional independence, like this video and comment number 1 below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started with powerful insights to transform the way you approach relationships. Stick around, because the next strategy will show you how to turn even the simplest interactions into unforgettable moments. 6. Keep your cool. Imagine this moment. He finally reaches out after a few days of silence. Maybe it's a casual text like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or even a phone call that catches you off guard. Your heart skips a beat, and the temptation to pour out your excitement or frustration bubbles to the surface. But what if, instead of reacting emotionally, you paused, took a deep breath, and responded with calm composure? That's the essence of keeping your cool, and it's more powerful than you think. When a man reaches out, especially after being distant, your reaction sets the tone for how he perceives you moving forward. If you come across as overly eager or overly annoyed, it can send the message that his attention holds too much power over you. But by staying balanced and centered, you show him that while you value his communication, your happiness doesn't depend on it. This subtle shift is magnetic. It demonstrates confidence, emotional maturity, and a sense of self-worth that's impossible to ignore. Here's an example. He texts you after a week of radio silence with something generic like, "Hey, what's up?" Instead of responding immediately with a long message about how much you've missed him or demanding an explanation for his absence, keep your reply simple and neutral. Something like, "Hey, I'm great. Just been busy with work and catching up with friends. How about you?" This response does 2 things. First, it shows that you have a full life outside of him. Second, it invites him to step up and engage in a more meaningful conversation. This approach is rooted in Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of controlling your reactions and maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. By keeping your cool, you embody this philosophy in a modern, relatable way. You're not letting his actions or inactions rattle your composure. Instead, you're showing that you value yourself and your emotional stability above all else. Let's go deeper. Why is this so effective? because it creates a sense of intrigue. When you don't respond with the intensity he might expect, it forces him to wonder, is she really that busy? Is she losing interest? That curiosity plants a seed of longing. He starts thinking about you more, not because you're playing games, but because you've mastered the art of staying grounded. Now, keeping your cool isn't just about how you respond to him, it's also about how you carry yourself in general. It's about embracing patience, especially when things feel uncertain. For example, if he's taking his time to commit or seems unsure about his feelings, resist the urge to push for answers. Instead, focus on maintaining your own sense of balance. Trust that if he's truly interested, he'll step up. And if he doesn't, you'll be fine, because you've already built a foundation of self-worth that doesn't rely on anyone else. This composure is also a form of quiet strength. In a world where so many people are quick to react, to overanalyze, or to chase validation, your ability to remain calm and centered makes you stand out. It signals to him, and to everyone around you, that you're not easily shaken. And that kind of emotional stability is incredibly attractive. Think about it this way. If he's testing the waters, seeing how much he can pull back without losing your interest, your calm response tells him everything he needs to know. You're not here to chase. You're here to connect, but only on terms that align with your values and self-respect. That balance creates a dynamic where he starts to work for your attention, rather than taking it for granted. In the end, keeping your cool is about more than just attracting his attention, it's about maintaining your power. It's about showing him, and yourself, that your emotional world isn't dictated by anyone else's actions. And when he sees that strength in you, he won't just miss you, he'll realize how rare and remarkable you truly are. 7. Don't overreach. Let's be honest. When you're interested in someone, it's natural to want to stay connected. You might feel the urge to send that good morning text, check in throughout the day, or make sure he knows you're thinking about him. But here's the truth. Less is more. Overreaching, no matter how well-intentioned, can often have the opposite effect of what you desire. It can make you seem too available, too eager, or even too dependent, which can diminish the sense of intrigue and space he needs to truly miss you. So, what does not overreaching look like in practice? It means dialing back the impulse to always initiate contact. It's about giving him room to notice your absence and to feel the natural pull to reach out to you. Think about it this way. If you're always the one making the effort, where's the opportunity for him to show his interest? Relationships, even in their early stages, thrive on balance, and balance can't exist if one person is doing all the work. Now, let's connect this idea to Stoicism, which emphasizes self-sufficiency and emotional independence. Instead of constantly seeking validation or reassurance through communication, focus on building a life that doesn't require it. Fill your days with activities, passions, and people that bring you joy. When you're genuinely busy and fulfilled, you won't feel the need to overreach, because your attention will be on your own growth and happiness. For instance, if you're tempted to send a text just to check in, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid he'll forget about me if I don't? If the answer is the latter, it's time to step back and redirect that energy towards something that nourishes you. Call a friend, hit the gym, or dive into a project you've been procrastinating on. By shifting the focus from him to yourself, you not only cultivate self-reliance, but also make yourself naturally more intriguing. Men, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to women who have their own lives, passions, and independence. When you're not always available, it creates a sense of mystery and curiosity. He begins to wonder, what is she up to? Why isn't she texting me? That absence allows space for longing to grow. And the more he thinks about you, the more he'll start to miss you. But let's be clear. Not overreaching doesn't mean playing hard to get or ignoring him completely. It's about creating a healthy balance where your interactions feel intentional and meaningful. For example, If you're used to texting him every night before bed, try skipping a night or two. Instead of flooding him with messages throughout the day, wait for moments that genuinely matter. A single thoughtful text can have far more impact than a dozen generic ones. Here's another tip. When he does reach out, respond in a way that shows you value the connection without making it your entire focus. If he texts you while you're out with friends, there's no need to reply immediately. Wait until you have a moment, and then respond warmly but concisely. This approach signals that while you appreciate hearing from him, your life doesn't pause for his messages. That subtle confidence is incredibly attractive. Now, let's add a touch of Dark Stoic Psychology to deepen this strategy. The idea here isn't to make him feel ignored or unimportant. It's to show him that your attention is valuable and must be earned. By not overreaching, you're demonstrating that you don't seek validation through constant interaction. You're showing him that your self-worth comes from within, not from his response rate or level of engagement. This balance creates a powerful dynamic. He'll start to view your interactions as special, not routine. When he does hear from you, it will feel like a gift rather than an expectation. And when you're not in constant contact, he'll have the chance to reflect on the times you've shared and to feel the absence of your presence. That space is where longing grows. Ultimately, not overreaching is an act of respect for yourself and for him. It's about trusting that if the connection is genuine, it doesn't need to be micromanaged. And when he sees that you're confident enough to let things unfold naturally, he'll realize just how rare and valuable you are. He'll start to miss you not because you've demanded his attention, but because you've shown him what life feels like when you're not constantly there. And trust me, that's a feeling he won't be able to shake. 8. Embrace his challenges. Let's talk about something that most people shy away from. The moments when a man seems to pull back, test your patience, or act a little distant. It's frustrating, isn't it? You might feel tempted to chase him, seek reassurance, or question what went wrong. But what if I told you that those moments aren't setbacks, they're opportunities? Opportunities to show him just how poised, confident, and self-assured you really are. Men often test the waters to gauge your reaction. It's not necessarily intentional, but it's part of human nature. Pulling back creates space to see how you'll respond. Will you chase? Will you panic? Or will you remain steady, exuding quiet confidence? The way you handle these moments tells him everything he needs to know about your emotional strength, and that's where you set yourself apart. Here's how to approach this using Stoicism as your guide. When he becomes distant or seems to be testing your boundaries, lean into patience and self-control. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own emotions and actions, and let go of what we cannot, such as someone else's behavior. By staying calm and composed, you signal to him that you're not rattled by his actions. You're centered, independent, and capable of handling whatever comes your way. For instance, if he starts texting less or seems less engaged, resist the urge to overcompensate by sending more messages or demanding an explanation. Instead, match his energy. If he's pulling back, let him. Use that time to focus on your own life, your passions, and the things that bring you joy. This doesn't mean ignoring him or playing games. It means showing him that your emotional balance doesn't depend on his every move. This approach does something powerful. It shifts the dynamic. When he realizes that you're not chasing or reacting emotionally, he starts to wonder, why isn't she reacting the way others might? What makes her so confident and unshaken? That curiosity pulls him back toward you, not because you forced it, but because you embodied the strength and poise that intrigue him. Now, let's layer in some Dark Stoic psychology to enhance this strategy. Embracing his challenges isn't about being passive or indifferent. It's about setting a tone of mutual respect. You're showing him that while you value the connection, you're not here to prove yourself or seek his approval. This creates a dynamic where he starts to see you as an equal, someone who commands respect simply by being unapologetically herself. Imagine this scenario. He pulls back, maybe stops initiating plans for a while. Instead of overthinking or trying to fix the situation, you continue living your life. You go out with friends, post a picture of yourself enjoying a new hobby, or even just remain silent for a bit. When he finally reaches out, your response is warm but calm. You're happy to hear from him, but you're not overjoyed or desperate. That balance is incredibly magnetic. The beauty of embracing his challenges is that it doesn't just make him miss you, it makes him respect you. He sees that you're not easily swayed by external factors, that you value your time and energy, and that you won't settle for anything less than genuine connection. And when a man respects you, he values you. When he values you, he misses you. If you're enjoying this perspective and want to keep mastering these transformative strategies, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let us know how you've handled similar situations, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more empowering insights. We're just scratching the surface of how to become the most magnetic, unforgettable version of yourself. Stick around. The next strategy will deepen the way you connect with him, guaranteed. 9. Use subtle jealousy wisely. Jealousy is a delicate tool. When used with grace and intention, it can remind a man of your value without creating tension or insecurity. But let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation or making him feel inferior. It's about showcasing your worth in a way that naturally piques his interest and makes him realize what he could be missing. Subtle jealousy works best when it's rooted in authenticity. You don't need to invent scenarios or play games. Instead, let your vibrant social life speak for itself. When he sees that you're well loved, admired, and surrounded by people who value you, it sparks a powerful reaction. He begins to see you through a different lens, one where your presence isn't guaranteed but highly coveted. Imagine this scenario. You're at a gathering with friends, and someone snaps a candid photo of you laughing with a group, including a male friend. You share the photo on social media, not to provoke jealousy, but to highlight the joy and connection in your life. When he sees it, he's reminded that you're not sitting at home waiting for his attention. You're living a rich, fulfilling life, and others are lucky to share in it. This approach ties beautifully into the philosophy of Stoicism, which emphasizes finding joy and contentment in your own world. When you embody this principle, you naturally project an air of confidence and independence. You're not trying to make him jealous, you're simply showing him that your life is full with or without him. That realization is what creates the subtle spark of envy, making him want to secure his place in your world. Here's where Dark Stoic Psychology elevates the game. By cultivating an authentic social presence and sharing it thoughtfully, you create a sense of mystery and allure. He starts to wonder, who is that person she's with? What's so captivating about her life that so many people are drawn to her? This subtle curiosity doesn't just make him think about you, it makes him long to be part of your world. However, there's a fine line between subtle jealousy and overt provocation. Avoid posting anything that feels contrived, overly flirtatious, or designed to make him insecure. Instead, focus on sharing genuine moments of happiness, connection, and personal growth. The goal is to highlight your value, not to diminish his. For example, if he's mentioned that he admires people who are adventurous, share a photo from a recent hiking trip or a new experience you've tried. It's not about flaunting your life, it's about showing that you're the kind of person who seizes opportunities and thrives in new environments. That energy is magnetic, and it naturally makes him want to be part of your journey. When he sees you living fully and engaging with the world, it reminds him of the qualities that drew him to you in the first place. It also sparks a subtle fear of missing out, not because you're trying to provoke it, but because your presence is so undeniably valuable. And that's the kind of jealousy that inspires action, not resentment. Subtle jealousy works best when it's paired with respect and authenticity. It's about showing him that you're a dynamic, multifaceted woman who is admired and cherished by others. And when you do this with grace, he won't just miss you. He'll realize just how rare and irreplaceable you are. 10. Practice moderation in sharing. Imagine this. He asks you how your weekend was. You could dive into every detail: what you ate, who saw, where you went, or you could give him just enough to keep the conversation engaging while leaving a touch of mystery. The choice you make here matters more than you think. Sharing too much too soon can dilute the magic of discovery, but practicing moderation in sharing keeps him intrigued and wanting more. Think of it this way: people are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand. If you lay all your cards on the table, there's no room for curiosity. But when you offer just enough to spark his interest, you create an ongoing sense of excitement and wonder. He'll start to anticipate every interaction with you, eager to learn more about the layers you reveal over time. This approach ties into the concept of Stoic restraint. Stoicism teaches us to value moderation, not just in our emotions, but in how we present ourselves to the world. By sharing thoughtfully, you show that you value your personal experiences and don't feel the need to broadcast every detail for validation. This quiet confidence is captivating, making him see you as someone who doesn't rely on external approval to feel secure. Let's say he asks, "What have you been up to lately?" Instead of launching into a detailed monologue, you might say, "Oh, I've been exploring some new hobbies. Finally started something I've been meaning to try for years." This response does two things. It answers his question, but it also plants a seed of curiosity. What hobby? Why now? It gives him a reason to engage further, to lean in and want to know more. Here's where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. By practicing moderation, you're not withholding, you're controlling the narrative. You're showing that you value your inner world and aren't eager to overshare for the sake of attention. This subtle control over what you share and what you don't gives you a quiet power that's impossible to ignore. He'll see you as someone with depth, someone who takes pride in her experiences and doesn't feel the need to put everything on display. Moderation isn't just about words, it's about the energy you bring to your interactions. For example, if he's asking about your day, resist the urge to fill every silence with more information. Let the conversation breathe. Give him space to ask questions or share his own stories. This creates a dynamic of mutual engagement, where both of you are equally invested in the exchange. Now, let's talk about social media. Sharing every moment of your life online might feel like a way to stay connected, but it can actually have the opposite effect. If he knows every detail of your day before you even speak, where's the excitement in catching up? Instead, use your online presence sparingly and intentionally. Share highlights, not a play-by-play. This leaves room for him to wonder, to ask, and to genuinely connect. Moderation also shows that you respect your own boundaries. It's about understanding that not every experience needs to be shared, especially if it's deeply personal or still unfolding. When you protect certain aspects of your life, you create a sense of intimacy and exclusivity. He'll start to feel that the things you do choose to share with him are special, and they are, because they come from a place of intention, not obligation. This approach also creates a sense of balance in your relationship. By not dominating conversations with your stories, you leave space for him to open up. This mutual exchange fosters deeper connections, making every interaction more meaningful. And when he thinks back on your time together, it won't be the volume of words he remembers, it'll be the feeling of being truly engaged and seen. Practicing moderation in sharing isn't about playing games or being elusive. It's about cultivating a dynamic that feels balanced, respectful, and intriguing. It's about leaving just enough unsaid to make him eager for the next moment, the next story, the next chapter of who you are. And when you master this art, you don't just make him miss you, you make him realize that you're the kind of woman he wants to know, deeply and endlessly. 11. Be a great listener. Let's flip the script for a moment. While so much of attraction is often focused on what you say or do, there's an equally powerful skill that's often overlooked: listening. And not just nodding along while waiting for your turn to speak, but truly, deeply listening. This simple yet profound act can make a man feel more connected to you than almost anything else. Why? Because being heard is rare. In a world where everyone is vying for attention, few people take the time to genuinely listen. When you do, you stand out, not just as someone he enjoys being around, but as someone he values and respects. Think about the last time someone truly listened to you. How did it make you feel? Understood? Valued? Seen? That's the exact feeling you create when you show interest in his stories, thoughts, and experiences. And the more he associates you with that feeling, the more he'll miss your presence when you're not around. Start by paying attention to the little things he shares. If he mentions a stressful deadline at work, follow up later with a simple, "How did that project go?" If he talks about his favorite childhood memory, ask him more about it the next time you meet. These moments show that you care, not in a superficial way, but in a way that reflects genuine interest and effort. Listening is also about creating space for vulnerability. When he feels safe to open up to you, it deepens your connection. You become someone he doesn't just enjoy talking to, but someone he wants to talk to. And that's where the magic happens. He starts to realize that his time with you isn't just fun or flirtatious, it's meaningful. Here's where Stoicism adds a deeper layer to this approach. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus outward rather than inward, to seek understanding rather than validation. When you listen without the need to redirect the conversation back to yourself, you embody this principle. You're not listening to respond or to impress, you're listening to connect. And that selfless focus is rare and incredibly attractive. Now, let's talk about balance. While being a great listener is vital, it doesn't mean becoming a silent observer in your relationship. Instead, it's about creating a rhythm of give and take. When he shares, listen with intention. When you share, do so thoughtfully, allowing space for him to engage. This dynamic builds mutual respect and ensures that neither of you feels overshadowed or overlooked. Here's an example. If he's talking about a new hobby he's picked up, resist the urge to jump in with your own story about a similar experience. Instead, ask questions that encourage him to share more. What made you want to try that? Or what's been the most exciting part so far? These questions not only keep the conversation flowing, but also show that you're genuinely invested in his world. This approach aligns seamlessly with Dark Stoic Psychology. By showing interest in his thoughts and experiences, you're subtly positioning yourself as someone who adds depth and understanding to his life. You're not just another voice in the noise, you're the calm, steady presence that makes him feel valued and appreciated. But there's another layer to this. When you listen well, you pick up on details that others might miss. These details give you insight into his needs, desires, and even his insecurities. And when you respond to those unspoken cues, whether through your words, actions, or gestures, you create a bond that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. For instance, if he casually mentions that he's been feeling stressed, you might surprise him later with something that helps him relax, a playlist of calming music, a recommendation for a great book, or even just a kind message saying, "I know you've got a lot on your plate, but you're doing great." These small acts, rooted in what you've learned by listening, leave a lasting impression. In the end, being a great listener isn't just about making him feel heard, it's about making him feel seen. It's about showing him that you're not just interested in his words, but in the person behind them. And when you master this art, he won't just miss your presence, he'll crave the connection that only you can provide. Because you're not just part of the conversation, you're the one who makes it unforgettable. Mastering the art of making a man miss you is about far more than playing games or following superficial tactics. It's about becoming a woman who knows her worth, lives with intention, and approaches relationships with a sense of balance and confidence. Each of the 11 strategies we've explored is rooted in timeless principles like emotional independence, self-respect, and authentic connection, qualities that not only draw him closer, but also make you stronger and more fulfilled as an individual. When you showcase your vibrant life, embrace mystery, teach him something new, and use subtle jealousy with care, you naturally build a sense of intrigue and value around yourself. By practicing moderation in sharing, keeping your cool, and becoming a great listener, you create space for meaningful connection and mutual respect. And when you avoid overreaching and embrace his challenges with grace, you remind him that you're someone who doesn't just enhance his life, you transform it. The beauty of these strategies lies in their authenticity. They're not about manipulation or forcing someone to feel a certain way. Instead, they're about cultivating the qualities within yourself that inspire genuine attraction and admiration. Whether it's through Stoicism or the empowering principles of Dark Stoic Psychology, these approaches are designed to not only make him miss you, but also help you build a life that you're proud of, whether he's in it or not. So here's the takeaway. Becoming unforgettable isn't about trying to fit someone else's idea of perfection. It's about embracing your own uniqueness, your own strength, and your own story. When you do that, you don't just make him miss you. You make him realize how extraordinary you are. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Let us know which of these strategies resonated most with you by commenting below. And if you loved this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on more transformative insights. Here's to embracing your power, owning your story, and creating connections that truly matter. See you in the next video.